Okay, lesson 4.5. Yes, on Friday, you had a couple assignments. One, you were to watch your Edpuzzle video. I gave you the link. You should be able to watch that. That was to help you with understanding slope and how to graph that. Today, we're going to continue with lesson 4.5. The other part of your homework was doing number 1 through 6. We're not going to grade that right now. It's just added on to your homework. It should be done. So tomorrow when I grade papers, we're going to grade 1 through 6 as well as today's homework. Okay? So let's start with the warm-up. Solve the equation for y. So I'll do this first one. Now I want you guys to be more active. But if I solve for y, that means they want me to have my answer to say y equals. And so I look at number 1, and here's my equal sign, so I make my little wall in between them. And on the left side, I have x plus y, so I don't have y by itself. What am I going to do to get y by itself? Well, I ask myself, and I look at it, I'm doing x plus y. So I'm adding an x to it. So I'm going to subtract an x on both sides of the equal sign. I'm left with y. And now we always want to put our x first, our variable, so it's a negative x, and it's a positive 4. So my answer is y equals negative x plus 4. That is how you should do that first one. Donovan, are you following along with me? I need you guys, you should be taking these notes and marking them down in this, not just watching me do it. Do it with me. I want you to do number 2. This is a 2-step equation. You're going to do the same thing I just did, but you have an extra step to do. So go ahead, take a couple seconds, talk with your neighbor if you need to get help with it. But I want you to work on number 2 right now. All right, came back. What's the first thing you're going to do? Dusty?
Divide 2x by 2.
No. If I divide 2x by 2, if I was to do that, Dusty, I'd also have to divide the y by 2 and then the 10 by 2. So I do not really want to do that first. Eric? Yeah, let's get rid of the 2x because we want to solve just for y. So we're going to take 2x away from both sides. So those two cancel each other out, and I just have y. And over here, I'd have minus 2x plus 10. Big mistake I've been seeing people saying is, oh, I get 8x. No, remember, 2x is different than just 10. 2x has a variable, 10 is just a constant. It's just a number, no variable with it. Now, do I have to do anything else? Actually, no, I don't. I was thinking I was going to divide, but I mixed it up. I have y by itself right now. Y equals negative 2x plus 10. But if I divide by 2, what do you mean? Divide by negative 2? But then I'd have to divide y by negative 2. And so I'd get like y divided by 2 equals, and now we want to get y by itself. 1 y all by itself. Let's look at these two equations now. Before we move on to anything else. First one, y equals negative 2x plus 10. What's my slope?
Negative 2.
Perfect, Aiden. The number that came before our x is our slope. This slope means I will go down 2 and over 1. I'm going to drop 2 every time, and I'm going to go right 1. Okay, so I can't graph that yet because go down 2 from where and go right from where. Do we know our y-intercept? What is my y-intercept?
10.
And it's a positive 10. This is our y-intercept. The coordinate for this is 0, 10. Y-intercept always has 0 for an x coordinate. If we wanted to graph this right now, here's one that had grid paper. I'm going to jump to this just to show you guys. If I wanted to graph this, we said our y coordinate, our y-intercept was 0, 10. Going right back to this lesson.
Who's the 11?
Oops. Thank you. Waiting for Dean to catch up with us.
Is
Okay.
it the inner?
We said it's 10. Y-intercept is 10. So when I look at grid paper, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's hard to see. Let's zoom in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Make my line keep going through here. That's my y-intercept. Oh, way too much is zoomed out. This y-intercept is located at 0, 10. And we said our slope was -2, which is -2/1. So the way we do this, guys, is we just go 1, 2 down, 1 to the right. It's now at that point, which would be 1, 8. I go 1, 2 down, 1 over. This coordinate is set to 6. And now, with my 3 points, I can make a line. It is that simple to graph a line from slope-intercept form. Once we get anything into y equals mx plus b, the biggest thing is y-intercept. This is going to be what you put on your grid first. That's the first coordinate point you're going to plot. Then do your slope. And your slope gives you all the other coordinate points. It's very, very simple. So let's look at today's lesson and what we're going to do. If you could do the warm-up with me, today's lesson is going to be fairly easy for you. Because it says our learning goal, I will graph linear equations in standard form. Standard form is different than what we worked on. If we look at the key idea, it says standard form of a linear equation is ax plus by equals c. A lot of letters, right? Mainly what they're telling you is we're still following with the x and the y and the c, which is going to be our slope. The reason we use these other letters is because we can have any number in front of our x. We can have any number in front of our y. Okay? A and b cannot be zeros. And to be honest, in standard form, we're not going to have to know this yet, but this ax, has to be a positive number. Which, their first example, they don't even give it to us in positive, so I'm like, technically that's not standard form. This is standard form. Anyone have an idea how you think we are going to graph it? Think about your warm-up. Anyone have an idea how we're going to graph standard form? Look at your warm-up. What do you think I want to do?
Find the slope intercept or the line intercept and the slope.
Yeah, we're going to end up taking this standard form. To be honest, in our algebra class we did this. Usually this is going to be more helpful for solving story problems or finding x-intercepts. There's going to be 2 methods we are going to use. The first one I think is the easiest one, and we're just going to change it to slope-intercept form, which is solving for y. We're going to do what you did for warm-up, and then we graph it. That's all you have to do. So if we look at this first one, example 1, this is once again why I like big ideas is because they work the problem out for you. We are going to go through it. You're going to notice right here, you don't see this grid on yours. All I did was went to Google and typed in grid, and then I took a picture and just right-click copied and I pasted it in here. So if you want to do that too, that'd be smart. here's what we're going to do. Example 1, it says to graph negative 2x, and I'm going to write it bigger, negative 2x plus 3y equals negative 6. Well, right now I can't graph that. I don't know what my slope is. I don't know what my y-intercept is yet. So I'm going to change it into slope-intercept form. And we're going to do that by just solve for y. And here's where they do all the work for you guys. We're going to look at it. They wrote the equation. Everyone should be following with this so you can do this today. You check, this is going to be on your pop quiz. Negative 2x plus 3y equals negative 6. I think I just wrote 6. Come on. Oh, I said 6. Okay. To solve for y, just like our warm-up, they got rid of the negative 2x. So we added 2x. We did this step. We added 2x, so we got 3y equals 2x minus 6. Well, I don't want to know what 3y's is. I want to know what 1y is. So we divide by 3. And I'm going to show this one because they didn't do that. When I divide by 3, I will just get y by itself. But I have 2x divided by 3. Can 3 go into 2? No, so they leave it as a fraction. So they have 2/3 x. Can I do negative 6 divided by 3? Yeah. That gives us negative 2. This is now slope intercept form right here. Y equals mx plus b. Y equals 2/3 x minus 2. Because of that, we know two things. Dylan, first thing, what is my slope of y equals 2/3 x minus 2? Perfect. This is my slope. Harrison, what is my y-intercept? Negative 2. We can now graph this. Because we know those two things, we're going to go to the graph. And here's their graph. They said the slope was 2/3. The y-intercept was negative 2. So they graphed it. First thing you graph is your y-intercept. Y-intercept means it crosses the y-axis. It's right here. Negative 2. So 0, negative 2. They plotted that point. Jordan, get on the same part we're on, so you can be following, so you can show me you know how to do this. So the y-intercept right here is negative 2, so they plotted 0, 2. Then we are going to use, so this is going to be second. We did this first. Second, use the slope to plot another point. We said the slope was 2, 3. Rise 2, and we're right over here. Slope 2/3. Rise over run. We went up 3, or I'm sorry, up 2. So 1, 2. We run 3. 1, 2, 3. So you see it? They plotted another point and it became 3, 0. The third thing I have to do now that I have those two lines, we can draw our straight line. Donovan, are you following along with me? Okay, show it to me. You should be taking notes with us. I go a straight line through those 2 points. Boom. Boom. That line is now graphed. We have graphed negative 2x plus 3y equals negative 6. Notice, we couldn't just look at that and say, negative 2 is my slope and negative 6 is my y-intercept. We cannot do that until we get into slope-intercept form. So we are going to try it right now. I will help with the grid unless you guys go ahead and you went to the internet and got a grid. But you can choose. We're only going to do one of them. Which one do you want to do? I don't care. We can do 1, 2, 3, or 4.
How about 1?
2?
No.
Who wants it? One's too easy. Let's not do 1.
3.
Who wants 3?
No. 3. Sure.
Who wants
I
2?
want to do 4.
Raise your hand for 2. Raise your hand for 3. Raise your hand for 4. Ooh, 4, got a couple more. Alright, we'll do 4. Okay, this is standard form. Is it in slope intercept form?
No.
How do I get there?
Ooh, you gotta
Dusty?
-2.
Good. I want a minus 2x. Minus 2x. Those cancel out, and I have y minus 2x plus 5. I now have the equation. Y equals negative 2x plus 5. It's only one y, so is this slope intercept form?
Yes.
Perfect. Sydney, what is my slope? Just negative 2. We don't need the x. My slope is negative 2. Huh? So I'm going to go over here and say m equals negative 2. And here they have a comment before. What is my y-intercept? 5. Okay. We can graph this now. Here's my little grid. First thing is I'm going to do what? What's the first thing to graph this, Aiden? Other Aiden. What do I want to do first?
You want to find 2, negative 2, and positive 5.
Nope. These two do not go together.
Oh, you do 0 and negative 2.
Close. Dusty?
It's 0, 0, and then comma, negative 2.
Nope.
Oh,
You have to make
Really?
a graph.
I think it's 0 and 5.
Good. Remember, negative 2 is our slope. That's telling us how steep our line is. That's not telling us a point on the line. That's telling us how steep our line is. B is our y-intercept. Remember, y-intercept means it crosses y-axis. It is a point. If ours is 5, that means up here, here's my y-axis going up and down. It's going to cross at 5, a positive 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The line will cross right there. What is that coordinate? 0, 5. Remember, our y-intercept will always have x be 0. So 0, 5. First thing you do is plot your y-intercept. Now, what do we do? How do I find any other points? What, Dylan?
you go down 2 to the
Good. My slope was negative 2. Remember, if my slope was negative 2, that's like negative 2 over 1. Rise over run. Negative 2. I am going to go down 2. 1, 2. Run. I run 1. We will now put this point in. And if I say its coordinate, it is 1, 3. I do it again. 1, 2 over 1. This one is at 2, 1. I am now able to make my line. forget our steps. If you guys get confused in your homework, come right over here. Look at our notes that we did. We first went to slope-intercept form, then plot the y-intercept. Use the slope to get your next point. Connect the points. To be honest, you can do it with 2 points. Okay, there is more, but I need to go on. I'm going to cover the second method because you're going to be able to use either method today. And actually, on one of them, they're going to tell you. So, method 1, we're going to write way up here at the top. Method 1, slope intercept form. We write in slope intercept form, and then we know our y-intercept and our slope. Method 2. We're going to say intercepts. And let's show you what I mean by that. If we go down to example 2, it says graphing a linear equation in standard form. Same thing we just did. X plus 3y equals negative 3. Good. We could go ahead and take that to slope intercept form and say 3y equals negative x minus 3. Y equals negative 1/3 x minus 1. We could do that. Or we're going to use intercepts on this one. To do that, you are going to have to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. And that's going to give you your 2 coordinate points. To find the x-intercept, you make y equal 0. So we go in the equation x plus 3y equals negative 3. We know whenever I make an x-intercept, we know since it has to cross that x-axis that y has to be 0. We know when we do the y-intercept, x is 0. So I'm just going to input that there. So x plus 3y, let's zoom in here, equals negative 3. We're going to solve this equation. And I'm going to say x plus 3, and instead of y, we said 0. What's 3 times 0? 0. Oh. So I'm left with nothing over here. I have x equals negative 3. That's simple. So my x coordinate is negative 3. My y coordinate was 0. Okay? We go to our y-intercept. X plus 3y equals negative 3. I'm going to make my x 0. What's 0 plus 3y? Okay, so that's just 3y. So that doesn't exist. I have 3y. I want to solve for 1y. How do I get y by itself? Divide by 3. 3y divided by 3 would just give me y. Negative 3 divided by 3 is negative 1. My y-intercept will be at 0, negative 1. We now have 2 coordinate points. If we plot them, we can make a straight line. We go down here. Here's their graph. X-intercept, like we found, was negative 3, 0. Remember, x-intercept, cross x-axis. So, I go left 3. I had some people that were switching the x-intercept and y-intercept. 3, 0, negative 3, 0. Y-intercept was at negative 1, so it's 0, negative 1. So I'm going to go in 0, negative 1 down. Now we draw a line to connect the two. And our line goes right through. And you are done. Now, to you, which one's easier?
One.
Slope intercept form? Might be. Some people like just doing this and finding the two x and y intercept. Sometimes it's more difficult because you have to do more steps to solve the equation. But honestly, you would have the choice. The only time you don't have the choice is like on today's homework, we're going to say graph the line using intercepts. So you're going to have to do this part. Alright, the other thing I want to clarify is the reason we don't go through all of this part is usually this is like your extra homework and we don't assign all. If we have more time, we would go through and have you guys do all these. But we're not going to do all that. I do want to look at these 4 questions first. We're not going to graph. This is just going to show me how are you understanding. Tell me, is this equation in standard form? Remember, standard form is A, any number in front of x, plus any number in front of y, and then is C. So is 7 in standard form?
Yeah.
No. Standard form is A, the x plus the y equals C. This is y equals, what form is this?
Y-intercept?
Slope intercept. Remember, slope intercept, y equals mx plus b. This is slope, so we're going to say no. Is this in y or standard form? Ax plus by equals c. Yeah, I'd have to rewrite. Well, I know we're supposed to rewrite. We're just seeing if you know this. No, they have y, x, and a constant all on the same side of my equal sign. So, no. Number 9, 4x plus y equals 5.
No.
Yes. Ax, 4x. By, just 1y, equals a constant. Yes. And the last thing before I give you guys some time, you're still going to have 5 minutes. 2 ways we can graph this equation. What are 2 methods that I could do to graph this? What's one way I could graph 4x plus 2y equals 6? Aiden?
Slope-intercept form.
Good. We could change this to slope-intercept form. I'm going to show it to you real quick because of time. Equals 6. So I'd say 2y equals negative 4x plus 6. I'd say divide by 2. So I'm going to get negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2x. 6 divided by 2 is 3. I'm going to graph that line where negative 2 is my slope. Positive 3 is my y-intercept. Looks like a G, so I kind of looped over. The other method besides slope-intercept is to do what?
Intercepts.
Find the intercepts. Find my x-intercept, find my y-intercept. Okay, what I want you to do for homework. Remember, this is a completion grade. You should have already finished 1 through 6. That should be done. So you're good there. Then, 9 through 18. 9 through 18. On 12 through 14, graph the linear equation. Do you think you need graph paper?
Yeah.
You better get some. On 9 through 10, all you're doing is rewriting the equation in slope-intercept form, just like we did our warm-up. You're just writing so it's y equals mx plus b, but with the numbers. 15 through 17, I would rewrite this into slope-intercept form, and then which one matches because of slope and y-intercept. 18 is you're correcting what a mistake was, and then 20 through 22, you're going to graph, so you need grid paper, but you have to do this one using intercepts. So you have to show that work. Okay?